Okay, let's begin. So we're starting on our backs, please. Lying all the way down, just bring knees up and feet flat on the floor. Arms can just drop at your sides, or you could bring your hands to your belly, whatever's most comfortable for you. That can be a nice way to connect with your breathing, to feel the movement of breath beneath your hands. Just let shoulders kind of shuffle around and then get comfortable. Thinking also of the position of your head, so if your neck feels long but also relaxed. So you might have your chin pointing straight up to the ceiling. Just taking a moment here to let yourself settle in, dropping in the feeling of being really heavy, gradually starting to relax any muscles that you're holding on to, especially if there's any tightness or restriction around the shoulders or the chest or maybe around belly or hips. So noticing with each out breath, just let the body relax more heavily. Staying just as we are for a couple more breaths here. Relaxing down with each out breath. And then when you're ready to move, we'll bring hands onto thighs, slide on up to knees and gather your knees in towards you. So just holding onto one knee with each hand, we're going to move the knees in a circle. So it could be big or small, you choose. Just circling in one direction to start with. And then reversing it to the other direction. So circling the other way. And then just hugging these in again. Bring both hands to your right knee, plant the left foot down. Let's bring our attention to the right foot. So we'll spread the toes open and start to move around the ankle. So that could be circles again. Or you might just be flexing up and down. And if you're circling, then also circle in the other direction. So one way and the other. Just creating some bit of mobility here. Just noticing also how it feels, so noticing if there are any restrictions in the ankle or the foot or the toes. Okay, and then just relax the foot, keep hugging your knee in towards your body, but keep the shoulders relaxed. And then moving the knee out to the side. And then slowly coming back up through center and move the knee across your body. It doesn't have to be too far, so try to keep your hips level on the ground. We don't need to roll all the way off them. And moving out to the side again. Back up through center and towards the midline of the body. And this time we're going to hold it out to the side, so you may want to prop your elbow on the ground and support your knee with your hand. So we can let gravity take over here, letting the leg feel a bit heavier, and focus on trying to keep your hips both connected to the ground so that we're not lifting one hip off. Keep shoulders relaxed, just soften around the throat. And then we'll pass the knee to the opposite hand. Bring the foot to the other side of your thigh, so we're just kind of crossing it over a little. Again, we want to keep both hips connected to the ground so that we're not rolling all the way off it. A little bit of pressure with the opposite hand just to pull the knee slightly across. It may not take very much to actually feel a stretch here. And always pay attention if you're tightening up somewhere else in the body, so particularly around your throat, your face, or your chest. Then come into a neutral position again, so we'll hold the knee with both hands. Just bring it up towards you. Bottom foot slides out long, so push your heel out along the ground until the leg is straight. You just might feel a bit of a tightening around the belly to support this pose. And then we'll lift the heel up so the foot comes up towards the ceiling. Long straight leg. And then switch to the other side. So we'll gather the left knee in, plant the right foot to the floor. And left foot gets some love now, so just circling the ankle, maybe spread the toes or wriggle them. Go with anything that feels good. And if there's a bit of clicking, that's fine too. Some people have really clicky joints. If you're circling in one direction, take it to the other direction as well. Or maybe it's just up and down or side to side. Okay, and then relax the foot. Bring the knee out to the side, so just for a moment here. And then coming up through center, across your body, so maybe just up to the midline. It may not come very far without the hip lifting off, depending on how tight you feel today. Or also you might have one side that's a bit more restricted than the other. Coming out to the side again, try to move open with the out breath. And then breathing in as we come through center, breathing out as we move the knee across your body. And one more time, open, this time we'll hold it. So prop your elbow, let your knee be supported by your hand. Just bring the elbow to the ground if that helps. Notice if there's some kind of resistance in your body, if it feels like something's grabbing on to support the position. Maybe there's just some lingering tension in your body. Okay, and then coming back through center, and we'll cross the foot to the outside of the other thigh. Holding with your opposite hand, keep moving the knee across. Still trying to anchor the left hip onto the ground. Just holding for a couple of breaths here. So with each out breath, really let your body relax into the pose, soften anything that you're still holding on to. Coming back through center. So just hold on with both hands. The bottom heel runs along the ground until the leg is straight. Just feel that little pull in of the abdominals to support your pose. And then with the foot flex, we'll lift the leg up high. And gather both knees in. Just hug them towards you. You might have one hand on each knee, or you might be able to wrap further around and link your hands. And you could even gently rock from side to side, or just kind of sway the legs over. Some people, you might even get a stretch around into the glute or somewhere around the hips, depending on where you're tight, even the groin is coming too. And then we'll let the feet land to the ground, the knees bent up, and just raising the hands, we'll give the fingers a wriggle. So paying attention to our hands. Fingers, just let them open and close, so scrunch in the palms and then spread them open. Also think about circling your thumbs and then circling wrists. One way and the other. And then bring the elbows into the movement, so we'll start to circle around the elbows and straightening, bending, any direction. Feels good, the elbows are very mobile. And then with your next breath in, we'll stretch arms all the way overhead on the ground. So you might have backs of the hands to the ground. Don't worry if your shoulders don't allow that. Just keeping the arms overhead. And then we'll bring elbows, we'll just bend the elbows, bringing elbows down the sides of your body. So still running the backs of your hands on the ground or hovering if you can't quite touch. Straighten arms overhead again, so we'll just do this a few times. Take a breath in as you stretch out. And take a breath out as the elbows bend down the sides of the body. So you might be running the backs of your hands or fingertips to the ground, and it'll keep moving. But for many people, you may find that your shoulders just don't quite have that range of movement, so then hovering is fine. Let's just do one more of these. So take a breath in as we stretch overhead. And a breath out as we bring the elbows down. And then let your arms relax at your sides. The elbows might be a bit bent, or you might have them out straight, some in between. Bringing these up and stack them directly above your hips. So we want to have the knees bent about 90 degrees. Pulling the belly in so that the lower back flattens down towards the ground. So we're activating the abdominals. Now to make this a bit easier, we can have the knees closer to the chest. To make it more challenging, try and stack them straight up over your hips without your back arching off the ground. So we're activating the abdominals, and we'll lower the knees partway over to one side, keeping your shoulders connected to the ground, your shoulder blades. Come back up through center, and we'll lower over to the other side, breathing out as we lower. Breathing in as we come through center. Breathing out as we lower. So remember, these can be closer or further away. Just keep moving from one side to the other. So you can choose your own intensity here. And only go as low as you can without any strain in the lower back. So that's really important. Lower with your out breath and only go as far as your body will allow. So we're just going to do one more to each side. Taking a breath in through center, breath out with the effort. Breath in through center, breath out as we lower. Okay, and then coming up through center again, let's hug the knees in just really gently. And then come and make your way over onto hands and knees. Take your time, especially if you do get a bit dizzy when you come up. Okay, so bringing your knees directly under your hips, let's set up our tabletop position. Spread your fingers open, even opening the thumbs, and shift your weight forward until your shoulders are stacked straight over your wrists. We want to keep that little lift in the belly. So we're not arching, we're just activating the abdominals, and that will help to support the lower back. Shoulder blades hug into your back body, and even rotate the elbows a little so that the inside of the elbows point forward as much as you can. Make sure you're not dropping your head, so we're lengthening up through the back of the neck. So just holding right here. Then tuck your toes under. Float your knees just off the ground, so you lift them off and then bring them down as close to the ground as you can get them. Stay active through the core, so keep activating the abdominals. We're just going to hold for a couple more breaths. Stay strong, keep breathing. And then lower knees down. Circle your wrists and flatten your feet, but just circle the wrists one at a time if you need it. Alright, so we've got that good strong position, especially around the middle. We're activating abdominals to support the lower back. Now, right foot. Float toes up to the ceiling, so we're putting the knee off. And then we're circling, so bringing the knee down, up to the side and up without moving your hips. So we're circling the knee down, out and up, down, out and up, and then hold it right here. We're going to take a big step just outside the hand. So if it gets about halfway, take an extra step to bring it all the way up. Now shifting the hips down, so here we're creating a long line from the bottom knee all the way up to the top knees. So think about that one long line, pushing the hips down and slightly forward. So we're still pulling in through the belly. We still want to stay strong here. We're not completely relaxing into it. And eyebrows just ahead of you. And then pull your hips back. The front leg doesn't have to be completely straight, so we want to only move as far as we can, but still keeping the back nice and long and still staying supported from the abdominals. But here you might feel quite a deep stretch up through the back of the leg. Bending the front knee again. Plant down into the left hand and float your right arm open. So just adding on a twist here. Hand touches down. And coming back up onto your hands and knees. Let's do the other side. So we'll, actually before we go again, I want to do a little reset. So planting firmly into the hands. We're going to tuck the toes under, lift the knees off again. And lowering down as far as you can without losing the integrity in the middle. So we're activating shoulder blades. Try not to drop the head, so we're not looking back at the knees. And let's see if we can get the knees just a little bit closer so they're hovering only just off the ground. Weight comes forward, so we're really planting into the hands. Let's hold for another breath. And then drop the knees down, flatten the feet. Circle your wrists if they need it. Okay, and then maintaining that strong core position. Left toes lift to keep the hips level. Circling down, out, and up. That's it. So drawing a circle with the knee, down, out, and up. Everything else stays stable. One more time. Down, out, up. Hold it right here. And then step the foot outside the hand. Bring it all the way forward. So shifting hips down, lengthening all the way up through your body, all the way up to the chest and out to the crown of the head. And we'll just hold for a couple of breaths here. So we're actively pressing hips down, but also lifting the navel. So we're not just hanging and relaxing here. We want to stay long and strong. And then shifting hips back. So only go as far as you can without hunching through your spine. So we'll keep that nice and long. Just breathe into the stretch. Coming into our lunge again, this time adding on our twist, so we're turning to face the thigh, reach the left arm up. With your next out breath, pull your arm even further back. And then hand comes inside, coming onto hands and knees again. Let's do one more little reset, so we're planting down into the hands, tuck toes under, float the knees off, and then lower knees towards the ground, stay strong around the shoulder blades, stay strong around the belly, hold and breathe. Okay, and then this time send your hips up and back into a downward facing dog. Keep pushing down into the hands, spreading the fingers, pressing into every fingertip. Tilt your tailbone high and press your chest through so you put a long line from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Knees can be a little bent, doesn't matter how bent they are. Doesn't matter how high your heels are from the ground. So that's something that we can just keep working on. Hold and breathe here. Okay, and then when you're ready to add on, float your right leg high. Bend the knee. And again, we're circling down, out, and up. Down, out, and up. One more time. Down, out, and lift. And then again, big step outside your hand. Coming into a lunge. Okay, so keep the back leg strong. And then climb your way up. So hand to thigh. Good, so check in with your balance. Maybe you can sweep one arm up, maybe you can reach both arms. You might find that you're tipping forward to maintain your balance, which is fine, but drive down into this front heel and then start to lengthen right up to fingertips. Just hold for another breath. And with your out breath, hand to thigh, other hand to the floor, and add a twist. Keep the back leg really strong as you rotate open. So we're not collapsing that back leg, we want to pull up through the kneecap. Keep rotating your chest open. Hold for another breath. Then hand inside your foot and push back. You can hold still or you could pedal the legs. Walk the dog, lowering one heel to the ground at a time. Okay. Then reset your downward facing dog. So tailbone high, shoulders active, so shoulder blades hugging the back body. Strong through hands, pressing to every finger. Left leg lifts. Keep the weight even in both hands. And bend the lifted knee. 3 circles, take your time. Down, open, lift. Down, open, lift. Stay strong through the hands, just one more time. And then take a big step outside the hand where you can take a couple of steps to get all the way up. Pause right here, feel that back leg, keep it really strong. So we're still pulling in through the belly. Then climb your way up to your thigh. Maybe at the arms if you're feeling steady. Hold for another breath here. Okay, let's move into our twisted position. So hand to thigh, twisted lunge, plant the back hand, turn the arm open. With another out breath, let's rotate now even further back. Bring hands to the floor and step back. So you can either hold your down dog, keep it on the spot, or if you want to take a little breather here, you can drop your knees to the floor, bring them a bit wider, big toes together and sit hips back. So you choose where you want to be right now. Okay, and let's all come back up to our down dog. So we're ready for it. And then walk your feet all the way up to your hands until we're in a forward fold. Stepping feet under hips. Relax your body down. Maybe hold on to your elbows, your forearms, maybe like, or you can just let your arms hang loose. And you can stay still or you can create some movement. It feels pretty good to sway to one leg and the other. Let the head feel loose. Pretty easy breaths. And come right up to the top of your mat. Let your arms hang, lift from your belly and curl all the way up to standing. And once you're upright, everything is stacked vertically, continue to float your arms up high, take your time. Hands touch and lower thumbs down to your heart center. Just pause right here for a moment, readjust and get a feeling of where your center of balance is. Kind of slightly shifting forward and back or side to side. Still pulling in through the belly, so there's a sense of lengthening down the lower spine, broadening across shoulders. And then sweep your arms down, stretch all the way up. And soften down into a forward fold. So just softening the knees a bit, let your feet hang. Step your right foot back into a lunge and sweep arms up. And then float hands down. Step both feet back into your down dog. Now roll your body forward into a plank until your shoulders come over your wrists. Activate around the shoulder blades, so hug them into your body. Slightly turning the elbows forward, pulling in through the belly. Now you can stay up on your toes or you can drop knees to the ground. Lower all the way down. And then bend your knees so that your feet lift. Bring your knees out wide and push up and back into a child's pose. Let your elbows and your forehead come to the ground. Stay here for another breath. Then power down into your hands again. So press into your hands so much that the elbows lift off. Curl your body up onto your hands and knees. Tuck toes under, lift your hips up and back. Now you can either walk your feet up to your hands, or you can bend your knees deeply and spring your feet up to the hands, forward fold. And then lifting from the navel again, curl all the way up. Continue to rise, so you can take it slower if you want to. So big stretch up, hands to your center. Just pause for a moment. Okay, and then sweep arms down and high, so big stretch. Mount all the way down, so soften elbows, soften knees, let your body hang into your forward fold. This time we'll step the left foot back into our lunge. So find your balance first. You can always climb on up to your thigh if you need it. Need a bit more support. Then sweep the arms up once you've got your balance. Keep pulling in through the belly. So make this pose super strong. Float hands down and step feet back into your downward facing dog. So bring attention to your hands first, and then float your body forward. So there's a sense of kind of rolling into your plank. Activate shoulders, lengthen the front line of the body, so chest and belly. From your knees or your toes, lower to the ground. Feet lift, knees wide, push into hands, come up and back into our child's pose. Pausing for a couple of breaths here. And then powering into hands until elbows lift off, curling up to your hands and knees, tuck toes under, push hips back. So you can walk your feet all the way up to the top of the mat, or bend knees and bring your feet forward, forward fold. We're going to do this 2 more times, but a little bit quicker this round. So curling all the way up, lift from the belly. Float arms high, come down to your center. With your next in-breath, arms sweep down and up. With the out-breath, just melt your body down. With the in-breath, right leg back. So anchor first, and then with your next in-breath again, sweep arms up. Get that back leg really strong, so even a little squeeze in the glute, up to stabilize. And touch down, step feet back. With an in-breath, we'll float forward to your plank. Lower down, knees or toes, and then lift the feet, knees wide, and ripple up and back to your child. Coming up to our down dog, tuck toes under, pushing back, step or jump. Try to land lightly on your feet. We're just going to do 1 more round. So when you're ready to rise, try and move with your breath. Breathing in all the way up to the top. Breathing out to center to refocus. Rise again. And melt all the way down. Lift leg. Big long step back. Make sure you're feeling strong. Drive into the front heel. Keep the back leg strong even as well. Touch down. Step back. Rolling forward, moving with breath. and lower. Good. Child's pose. Knees wide, floating back. When you're ready to move again, just keep going, so tuck toes under, pushing back. Bend knees, lay lightly on your feet. Hips high, hip drops. Then curl all the way up. Both arms high. And return to your center. Just pause for a moment. Just refocus here, spreading toes, belly gently drawing in, tailbone lengthens down. Hold. Focus your attention. Okay, now the left foot steps a long way back, and then this time I'm going to bring the heel to the ground. So left leg back, right foot forward. Okay, and then float arms out wide. So, front arm lifts. Keep the back leg really strong as you shift your weight back. And then floating forward, forearm lightly on the thigh. Keep the back leg super strong. Other arm comes over, right over like here. Rise again. Now this time, as you come forward, we're going to bring the weight completely into the front leg. You can reach your fingers down towards the toes, or you can have a hand on the thigh. You're going to bring in the back leg and float it up. So you can have hand to thigh, or you can point towards your toes. Hold for another breath. And then take a long step back, round to the back heel, and sweep the front arm up. Windmill up and over, and step in, lift the back heel to your forward fold. I'm just going to spin around so I'm still facing you guys. Let's curl on up, slowly rise to the top. Sweep arms high. Hands to center. Pause for a moment, refocus, reset. Okay, sweeping down and high again. Melt your body down to your forward fold. This time we'll step the right foot back, so we've got the left leg in front. Spin the back heel to the ground. Sweeping arms wide. Just pause here for a moment, so really feel into the pose. Really pressing here. Ground your feet. Front arm sweeps up and over. And coming forward, so forearm really lightly on the thigh, get the power in the core and in the legs, other arm over. Rising again. So this time, as we come forward, we're going to lift it off. So you can have hand on thigh, fingers pointing down, slide the back leg in until all the weight is in the front leg, and then lift off. Just hold and breathe, hold steady. You come down to come straight back up. And then take a huge step back, ground your feet again, front arm lifts, moving back. And wiggle the arms up and over, lift the back heel and step into your forward fold. Just hanging out, you can hold on to your elbows, you can sway from side to side whenever you like. And then stretch one leg under, come and take a seat and stretch your legs out long in front of you. Shuffle the hips back, so we're sitting up nice and tall. Keep the legs quite strong, so we're pulling the toes back. Dipping from your hips, just float hands. Just if you lose your money, you're going to find that you're still feeling quite upright. But I want to make sure that we're not curving through the spine. So we're sitting up tall. Try and pitch your weight forward. Both hands down. Tip the chin a little so the back of the neck is long. Easy breaths. 2 more breaths and really let your body ease into the pose of each out breath. Okay, and then sitting up again, bring your hands behind you. Pull your shoulder blades towards each other. Lift the chest, broaden across your shoulders, point your big toes down, and float your hips off the ground. So if you need a bit more support, you can bend up one knee or even both of them. Let's try and lift the hips high, lift your chest proud, tip your head to wherever it feels good. Really push the ground away from you, and you'll hold for 2 more breaths. And then with the last breath, just take a breath in and then lower down for the out breath. Just ease your way down. Scoot hips towards heels. And come and lie all the way down onto your back. So keep your feet on the ground, keep your knees bent up. And we're just going to float the knees over to one side. And coming up through center, float knees over to the other side. Rocking the knees over to one side and then the other. Just at a pace that feels good to you. So we want to breathe out each time we lower. And eventually, coming back through center, bring our hands onto your thighs, sliding up to your knees. Just gently hug the knees in towards you without really squeezing or muscling them in tight. Just nice and light. Then we'll bring left foot to the floor. Right leg extends high, and you can just have your hands behind your thigh or around your calf. But try to keep both hips evenly grounded. So we're not twisting and we're not lifting off. You can have a little bend in this lifted knee if you feel quite tight here. Try to let your shoulders relax back and down. You can keep the bottom knee bent, that can help with your balance, or you can straighten it out long to bring in a bit more intensity. Okay, and then floating the leg open to the side, support with your elbow. So elbow to the floor and hand under the leg. Shoulders still relaxed towards the ground. And hips are level so that we're not rolling over to one side. And now passing your leg to the opposite hand, and we're going to keep moving all the way over to the other side. So we're crossing it right over. Bottom leg bend up, it might feel more comfortable. So a little shuffle here so that you're lying on the side of your hip, so that we're not twisted around the pelvis. Just let shoulders drop. You could even be getting a stretch down the outside of that top leg. And then we'll bend up the top leg as we come back through center. Let's reset everything again. So have a wee wriggle until your hips are kind of in line with your shoulders. Back to center again. Left leg lifts. Bottom leg bent or straight, you choose. You can be holding behind your thigh or your calf. But try to let go of the effort. So it's not about how much effort you can create. It's about finding the right balance between having ease in your pose so that you can breathe easily. You're not struggling. But just with a little bit of energy, a little bit of effort so that the pose is active and not completely passive. You notice where your mind goes, if it starts to wander, when the body slows down. And we hold our attention here, pretty focused on what you're doing. And then opening the leg out to the side. Stay here for a few breaths. And then coming over, hold with the opposite hand. Keep rolling over and feet up the bottom leg. And we shuffle until you're lying on the side of the right hip so that the pelvis comes all the way around. We're not twisting around the pelvic area. Just bring your arms where you lay down comfortable. Maybe you want to broaden across the chest by extending your arm out wide. Relax around your jaw, face, shoulders, chest, just scanning all the way down your body. Then you relax even further with each out breath. Coming out nice and slow, just returning to center, realign your body again so that you're feeling centered down your midline. Just a couple more minutes here, so you might want to have soles of the feet together with the knees open, only if it feels good, so truly listen to your body and if it wants to be here. If not, bring your knees up, feet to the floor just as we started. Hands on your belly or at your sides if you like. And our practice here is to hold our attention, to focus on your concentration. We want to focus awareness in this space, aware of the body, observing anything that arises for you, whether it's something that you can feel internally or externally, the sounds you can hear at a distance, feeling of the position of your body and whatever you're connected to, and of course the movement of your breath. Staying as we are just for a few more breaths here. Really relaxing down with each out breath. And then finally, when you're ready to come out again, find a bit of movement. Maybe you want to stretch out long, reaching your arms overhead, extending your legs out long, pointing toes or flexing heels or a bit of both. Curling up again, knees towards your chest, wrap them in. And finally up to seated. Take a bit longer to get there if you need it. You can keep your eyes closed. Take as long as you want. Just resting hands on knees or in your back. And let's all finish together. Floating arms out wide and stretch up high. Hands touch, and with your out breath, trace a line down your center. Thumbs to your heart space. And thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Thanks for having me today.